Welcome to the At Leisure Podcast. This is a show about sports, video games, movies, and just basically the things we do with our leisure time. My name is Brett, and I'm here with a new guest and Kansas State expert, Blake. Thanks for coming on, man.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Dude, me too. I mean, it's hard to believe we're in our 30th episode, so thanks for joining on such a big, monumentous day.
Yeah, man, that's cool. Didn't realize that. That's awesome. Gotten to listen to a couple episodes. Y'all are great, and I'm excited to be on.
Well, thanks. Yeah, and thanks everyone who's listened so far. If you're just joining, we're continuing our Big 12 college football preview series where we're getting to know all the Big 12 schools with someone who's a fan of each team. And obviously today we're talking Kansas State, so we can just jump into it, man. What do you think the biggest strength? What are you most excited about this team?
I would say off the bat, our biggest strength is going to be that our offensive line is returning. So we had a bunch of guys that are had like the COVID year option. Some guys that would have been draft picks, Cooper Beebe to name one, and they all decided they want to come back, play another year, and they really want that championship repeat to happen. So definitely say biggest highlight is the O-line returning.
So jealous of that. Oh yeah. Man, I've said it for Texas and for OU. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of obsessed with offensive linemen because it's like, man, if Tech had that last year, we'd have been even better than we were. So
right.
Yeah, offensive line. I saw somewhere that y'all are ranked like that offensive line is ranked 11th nationally. Like that's huge.
And of course, I mean, I'm a homer obviously, but I would say like our offensive line is like potentially like cracked up. I would put them like top 5, but that's me. And dang. I think Big Game Boomer put them like top 4. So which some of his takes are pretty interesting to say the least, but that one I agreed with. So.
Yeah, that's fair.
Got a couple other highlights for biggest strength. I would say so. A big thing, and I'll mention this in the weakness as well. But just if you're just kind of casually know about K-State, if you're not a K-State fan, etc., a big thing is like, okay, well, Deuce Vaughn's leaving, so that leaves this gap in the offense, and it does because Deuce Vaughn is singular, like one of a kind talent that K-State's not going to see again. But
so fun to watch.
Yeah. Super excited to see him play for the Cowboys, but I mean, we could go down a rabbit hole for that. But just, I think that our offense has the potential to be even more proficient than last year. Not saying necessarily by the running back, although we do have 2 running backs that are going to be, that I believe are going to be really solid. But I just think overall, with Will Howard being able to have a full season at quarterback, stay healthy, he's not playing behind somebody this year. Really excited to see what he can do with a full season, which going in the season knowing he's the starting guy, having some receivers that he's used to throwing to. We've got some new talent as well. So I really think that our offense is going to be surprising. I think they're going to be even more proficient than a lot of people expect. And then another strength is just, this is Kleiman's. I should have looked this up to be 100% for sure, but I want to say it's his 4th or 5th year now. So just having all of the staff and rhythm, I mean, he's just, I think he's just going to keep building on what he has at K-State. So that's just a huge plus is we have all of our staff returning. So.
Yeah, continuity, man.
Nice.
That's big in college football. Well, in most sports, but even in college football, especially. Absolutely. And y'all do have 8 offensive starters returning, so that just bodes well for good offense.
Yes, it does.
But it is interesting you said receivers, because I would have, if I was given strengths and weaknesses, I'd have probably said weaknesses was y'all's receivers.
Yeah, and I'll touch on that. So if we just want to flow into the weaknesses, So I'll start with the receivers since we mentioned it. It is interesting. We lost Cade Warner. We lost Malik Knowles, which Cade Warner was a really consistent guy to go to. He had arguably one of the best catches of the season. I believe it was TCU. He had it might not have been one-armed, but he had to take it out of the defender's hands and stole it for a touchdown, or it was touchdown or 5-yard line, something like that. It was huge.
Yeah.
But he was just such a consistent guy. And Malik Knowles, I would say personally, I think that's our biggest loss at receiver because we played the sweep with him a lot and worked really well. So we're going to miss that. But Ben Sinnott, I think, is a very underrated tight end. And once Howard took over at quarterback, that connection, that was seemed to be his favorite. It was very, very useful. Ben Sinnott led receivers and touchdown catches, I believe, by the end of the season, which is pretty crazy. So he'll be back. So
I think I saw he had 4 touchdowns
Mm-hmm.
and like
For
450 yards and
yeah,
31
yeah,
catches. I mean, that's pretty good stats for a
yeah,
tight end,
yeah.
especially in a system that y'all didn't pass it like
Mm-hmm.
the rest of the Big 12 did for the most part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. So super excited he's coming back. I'll get into more of our new guys once we get down there. But just to mention real quick, just Keegan Johnson
Mm.
transfer coming from Iowa. That's going to be huge, I think. Also, RJ Garcia. He was a freshman last year. He had a huge catch in the Big 12 championship. I remember watching that play and like it was unbelievable that he made that catch. It was a tough throw. It wasn't the greatest throw, but he like just went up and grabbed it. And if a freshman can make that kind of a play for the championship game under the lights, really excited to see what he can do this season too. So I think we'll be okay at receiver.
Yeah, that's good. I don't know anything about those other two guys. I knew that the
Mm-hmm.
Iowa transfer was expected to start, but I didn't know if
Yes,
there was
yes,
any other expectations from him other than that, really.
yeah. He'll start. I mean, it's just all up to him
Did he
on
play for
how he
Iowa
adapts.
much?
Yeah, he did. So I mean, just seeing off of his highlights, he's just a guy that like doesn't want to go down. Like he's gonna always try to get those like extra yards. He's hard to tackle. That was just the biggest thing that stood out to me was that he's like he'll break a tackle. He'll
Yeah.
he'll he'll grab an extra 4 or 5 yards. So that's exciting. Other weaknesses to me, like I mentioned, most people are thinking, okay, what about Deuce being gone? How do you like replace that? I'm more worried about our defensive turnover. So we lost Felix and Duke Uzama, and then first round draft pick to the Chiefs. Super excited for him. And we also lost a lot of safeties. I mean, we lost Josh Hayes, we lost Julius Prince at cornerback, or I should say secondary. We lost people in the secondary. So I think that's the biggest issue is like how's our depth going to hold up this year? How's everyone going to replace and how are we going to fill all these spots? So that's my biggest question mark going into the season is just how well or how good our defense can be this season.
Yeah, I saw that where you have 8 offensive starters returning, you only have 5 defensive starters returning, and only
Yeah,
one in the secondary. So it's like,
yeah, yeah.
oof.
Secondary's big question. It's a
Yeah,
big question. We had some guys that had stepped up last year, like VJ Payne. He's either I believe he was a freshman last year. He did really solid. He had to go in when we lost Kobe Savage, so
yeah.
and that was a rough loss. Kobe Savage is probably my
He's the one coming back, right?
he is he's
Yeah,
coming back and he's incredible. I love him. He's one of my favorite players, if not my favorite player on the team. He's just got so much energy. So at least we'll have him. We have a good like person to kind of lead all these new guys coming in. So that's a plus. But it just depends on if he can stay healthy is a big thing. Yeah. So it just kind of all rides on that.
so I couldn't decide. Like, I've gotten conflicting, like, I don't know, information on this. What do you think about the
Mm-hmm.
linebackers? Would you put them more in the strength or more in the weaknesses? Because I know all 3 of them are coming back, right? But I've also
Yeah.
heard people aren't that high on those 3 guys to begin with. It's like Duke, Green, and Moore.
So you got Daniel Green and Austin Moore are like the two like highlight to me. God, I can't remember that third linebacker off the top of my head right now, but I mean, I personally really like Daniel Green and Austin Moore.
Yeah,
I think that they're a bit underrated. I think they're really solid. I would put them in strength, like so. I have like I'm looking at my
that's huge
defensive and
then.
offensive players that like I'm really excited about, and Daniel
Hmm.
Green and Austin Moore are both in my like defensive
Yeah, we can
players
move
that I'm
on to
excited
that if you
about.
want to.
So yeah, for sure. So Kleinman is really high on Daniel Green and Austin Moore. So is the team. They get mentioned a lot, when they're asked like, "Hey, who are you think's going to have like a standout season?" And so I believe Daniel Green as well as Khalid Duke. Now Khalid Duke's a defensive end. They've both kind of dealt with injury too, so that's kind of been a like this issue of like, oh, they had all this potential, but they've been battling through these injuries. So it's just like, again, can like Kobe Savage, can they stay healthy this year? So it kind of rides on that again, which is man, it's such a stressful thing to be like on the hinge of if someone's gonna be healthy or not. But if they are, then I think our defense is going to be pretty solid still. Some other standouts: Brendan Mott, defensive end, and then I already mentioned them, but Kobe Savage
Yeah.
coming back is just huge. Can't wait to see
It,
what he does.
it at least sounds like a lot of your quote unquote QBs for the defense are coming back. Like your
Mm-hmm.
linebackers, and you've got a
Mm-hmm.
safety. It's like
Mm-hmm.
at least you have consistency there.
Yes, exactly. And our coordinator Kleinerman is just he. I mean, it's just what you do at and like in the Big 12 and Kansas State is you find these guys that weren't so highly recruited, you turn them into something special, and so excited to see what he can do with some new players. And he's had such a consistent turnout on defense that like I definitely don't think this is going to be as strong as a defense of last year, but I think our season kind of rides on that. It's just how well or how solid they can be this season. But I think that it'll be enough to be able to do what we expect to do.
Nice. So yeah, you kind of hit on a lot of returning players. Any
Mhm.
new players? We hit on the Iowa receiver Keegan Johnson. Anyone
Mhm.
else?
Yeah. So also Trayshawn Ward is another transfer from Florida State. Really big on him. But we also have
Running back, right?
yes. So he's a running back, and we also have DJ Giddens who played behind Deuce Vaughn, who was really solid. He just obviously didn't have to play a lot, but when he did, he's another one of those guys that is gonna like break a tackle, get a couple extra yards, and I'll talk about that kind of more on a grander scale later because I think that's a big strength or like what our offense is going to kind of look like this year.
Mm.
But that's those are the highlight guys that are going to be new. Some people that or someone that Kleiman's really big on, and if he highlights a guy like in his conferences, press conferences, then they always end up being really big dudes for us. So Uso, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name right now, but so he's a defensive tackle.
That's
So Kleiman's big on him. So are a bunch of the other players. Him and Austin Romaine at linebacker. So these guys have been, I think it's their second year with us, but they're just like now with some of those spots being open, they're going to get a lot more playing time this year. And Kleiman's really big
Mhm.
on those guys. So it'll be exciting to see what they can do. Some returning on offense, not necessarily new, but just because I mentioned the returning on defense, but for offense, obviously Will Howard, Cooper Beebe, Ben Sinnott, DJ Giddens, and we also have Phillip Brooks returning a wide receiver and punt and kick return. So he's a guy who's been with
Yeah.
us. I think
He's
this
like
is
the
his
only
fifth
receiver I
year.
know on y'all's team now.
Right. Right. Yeah. So that's really exciting. I'm glad that he chose to come back. I think he's using his COVID year. So it'd be nice to have him, someone just who's been in the program, knows the offense. So that
Yeah.
would be a big plus.
Yeah, and obviously, I mean, returning players, Will Howard, so much
Yeah.
hinges on him
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, it does.
doing his thing.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
funny we almost pass over the quarterbacks because it's like, well, of course, for every team, it's like a super important returning player
hmm
or new
Yeah.
player, whatever they are.
Yeah. Super excited just to, like I mentioned before, like what can he do with the full season knowing that he's the starter. And we had just kind of talked about this off air and whatnot, but just about how he had a smaller pool of games to pull from, but his stats last year were like so impressive. And it's just like, okay, is he gonna be able to deliver that
Hmm.
like for a full season? But just mentioning some stats, and this comes from big Twitter user and the K State community on Twitter, KSU underscore fan. So in 42 non-garbage drives, he had 24 touchdowns, led 4 field goal drives, only 8 punts, only 3 turnovers, and averaged 4.29 points per drive. So
Wow, he
yeah,
he was he responsible for all 24 of those touchdowns, or is it just the drives?
the drives.
Okay, I
Yeah,
mean that's still
yeah, he led those
impressive,
drives.
but I
Right.
was like
Yeah, no, yeah, it would have been
24
insane.
to
Yeah, it would have
three.
been
That's
insane.
insane. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, no, not
still
quite that, but yeah,
still
still,
impressive. I mean, that's
yeah,
what you
still
want from your
impressive.
quarterback, even if he's
Yeah.
not directly responsible for the
Mhm.
touchdown. I mean,
Right,
in a lot of
right,
ways, leading a drive down the field, you're still pretty responsible. So that's cool.
right. And I got one last stat for Will Howard on completion percentage on balls 20 plus yards downfield. He was 45%, so he had 33 attempts and 15 completions on 20 plus yard
Wow.
throws. Yeah, so he can sling it.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited.
It's so weird. I gotta change my mental image of this guy. It's
Mhm,
like for so long I always thought of like, okay, I'm not scared of Will Howard, but
mhm.
that sounds scary. That's a that's
Yeah,
a threatening
yeah,
quarterback there.
yeah. And one thing that stood out to me listening to him on some of this preseason stuff, he's mentioned how last year he was just like him and the staff were like, okay, we're gonna focus on throwing, and he kind of became a throwing quarterback for the games he was in. But he said that he wants to like work running the ball himself some more, and he's a big dude.
Interesting. Yeah, he's like
He's a
six
big
six,
dude.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, solid dude. I mean, he's got Klein as his quarterback slash offensive
Yeah.
line coach. So I mean, he's got the role model to follow. So I'm really excited to see if he can really deliver on that because that'd be a huge thing to add in his repertoire this season.
Yeah. It kind of feels like that we've already transferred into this, but like what has to happen for a good season? Obviously, he just has
Mm-hmm.
to carry over that momentum, right? Like
Yeah.
you just
Yeah.
need him to keep playing at that level and not
Yeah.
regress.
Yep. Absolutely. So yeah, it depends on if he can deliver like he did last season. Depends on if our defense can really come together with all these new players. Obviously, stay healthy. That's every team.
Right, right.
Um, a big thing is we got to win at home. I got us projected for our record, and I might be skipping a little bit early here, but this just helps my talking point. But I got us projected at 8-1 or 7-2. I have high hopes, so I'm thinking 8-1 with the lost, most likely Texas and or Texas Tech. So, and those both of those games are away, so we got to win at home. We can't
Hmm.
if we lose one of those, we drop one of those. I would say our bets at making the Big 12 championship are lost because we could very well lose both of those games at Texas and Tech. So it's just going to be take care of all your home games, go out and you got to win. Probably got to win one of those. Try obviously try to get both.
Hmm.
So I got those two games really circled on the
Yeah,
calendar
I'm
this
interested to dive
season.
into the schedule here later because I don't
Hmm.
know who y'all play at home. It's like, is
Gotcha.
that an
Yeah.
easy ask, or are y'all going to
Right.
be favored in all those games, or are you going to have some?
Uh, I would. Yeah. I would. I think we're going to be favored. I think the biggest one's going to be having TCU at home. So
Yeah,
that'll be interesting. Which
that'll be
everyone's kind of
fun.
wondering. Yeah, it will. And I think my family and I are trying to go to that game, so we'll see how that turns out. But yeah, so that's going to be the biggest one. I mean, we've also got. I think we also have Iowa State. It's going to be a tough one. I mean, I know they're not like super high on the preseason poll, but it's a rivalry. They
They're
always
always a
give us
battle.
trouble. Yeah, they're always a battle. They always give us trouble. They're not gonna lay over and die. So that's going to be. I mean, it was a hard fought game last year. That game gave me multiple heart attacks. So it was low scoring. It always is with them. So it'll be an interesting one too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Before we dive fully into that, I guess just let
Hmm.
me know what you think could happen. Like, is there anything other than just the reverse of the things we said? Is there anything
Hmm.
that you're worried about to maybe have a bad season? Like, what would be a bad season for you, like record wise?
So record rise, honestly, and it's hard to tell because I mean we lost two conference games and still went to the Big 12 championship, and that's kind of how it always is in the
Uh-huh.
Big 12. Is you can always kind of lose one more than you really think you can, but you never want to. So like last year, if the Tech and K State game would have switched, Tech would have been in the Big
Yeah,
12
you
game,
don't
and
have to
K State
remind me.
wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's just I think that speaks to just how good Tech is to me, and like everyone's got the high hopes for them this season. I mean, they were right there, like so.
I don't know what to do with
Like,
all
don't
this
count them
praise
out.
we're getting.
Yeah, I mean, no, and it's weird. K State being picked second. It's really weird. We're always we like being the underdog, so it's odd to be like okay, now we gotta deliver, and we're gonna be as everyone on the
The
team keeps saying
favorites in
we're
a
gonna be
lot of
the
your games, yeah.
yeah, and we're gonna be the hunted. So it's gonna be interesting. I would say a big thing that happened last year. I mean, not saying that I expect like okay, let's like we're gonna make like a playoff run, like we're gonna
Right.
or anything. But last year, a big setback was losing to Tulane. So I would say let's not lose a non-conference game this year. We've
Right. Yeah.
got Southeastern Missouri, we've got
Golly,
Troy, and then we've got Missouri.
I forgot
So
y'all lost that game. That looked
yeah, I
so
know,
bad at the time. Turned out Tulane
dude.
was pretty good,
Yeah,
but
yeah. Turned out they're a top 25 team.
yeah, but at the
So
time I was like, "Oof, K
oh, I know.
State."
Dude, you're telling me I was telling all my friends like, oh, we're the dark horse this year. Like, you better
Yeah.
watch out for us. And we lose to Tulane. I was backtracking. I'm like, I don't know. We'll wait and see. Yeah, so that was real interesting. So I would say we got to hold on to those non-conference games this year. Troy's going to be interesting. That's kind of like the mirror of like Tulane last year. They're a non-power five is still really solid team, really great in their conference, and can't underestimate them. Missouri is going to be. I mean, some people are picking Missouri to win. I'm not that worried about it. The only tricky thing is we are playing them in Missouri, so that'll be
Mhm.
fun. But I mean, I love getting to play them. Last year we stomped them. I don't think it'll be a routing like last year was, but I definitely think it'll be a win and hopefully a comfortable win. So it's really just like don't let Tulane happen again last year in Troy. So that'll be a game to be on the lookout for.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you were ready to dive into the schedule.
Hmm.
I was still wondering if you have like a number that would disappoint you on win total. would 8 be kind of the magic number of like, okay, 8's okay of a season,
Hmm.
higher than 8 is a good season, or is it
Man,
10 or bust?
I would say, yeah, I would say 8 or 9 would be a little disappointing. I would think
Yeah,
so. Like I would say 9, 9, 10. I would hope for 10 or 11. So we'll see. I mean, I got high hopes. So, like talking earlier about like the games I've got circled on the calendar, like, dude, Texas has been. I mean, they should be the monkey on our back. It's Texas, but we
right.
just. I mean, we can go and we can beat it. OU 3 out of 5 the last 5 years, but we can't beat Texas. Kleinman has not beaten Texas yet, so if we can beat them on their way out of the Big 12, it's going to be a very tough ask. It's going to be in Austin on a very talented Texas team. So we'll see if Texas is back, and we'll see if K State can maybe pull that one out this year. That one, I cannot wait for that game.
Yeah, I'll always be
That'll be
rooting for
interesting.
y'all there.
Yeah, I
I think
appreciate that.
I think the only way that this season goes poorly is you're pretty high on the offense, as you should
Hmm.
be,
Right.
but you really have to find so many new playmakers. Like
You
your
do.
offensive line is back, but you're gonna have to find some people to like make some explosive plays, and like
Hmm.
Ward better be able to break free, because
Hmm.
Gibbons is good, but I remember him, isn't he more of like a power back, It's kind
Yes.
of like,
Yes. He is.
which is good
Yep.
because you've got the line for it, but at the same
Hmm.
time, it's like you're gonna really need to find playmakers.
Oh yeah.
Otherwise, you're just gonna be playing in so many close games,
Oh, I know. Yeah,
and you never know what could happen.
we're definitely gonna miss that like guaranteed 1 or 2 touchdowns where Deuce just shakes a guy and he's just
Makes people
gone.
look
So
silly.
yeah, so I don't know if we'll have any of that, but I'm hoping we can air it out more with Howard starting. I think the biggest thing there is Phillips and Sennett being back too, just because he's what Howard's got that experience thrown to them. He's really comfortable working with Sennett. I think Sennett's going to have a huge season this year. But you're right. I mean, I have all these people that I expect to be playmakers, but can they deliver and will
Yeah,
they?
not a
So
lot of
yeah,
proven commodities out
right,
there,
right,
other
exactly.
than maybe your tight end. But even then,
Hmm.
you're asking your tight end to be your number one
I'll do a
receiver.
lot. Yeah, yeah,
That's tough.
yeah. I'm hope that he's not necessarily a number one receiver. I
Uh,
really hope that Keegan Johnson and RJ Garcia can really step up too. So yeah, it'll be interesting.
all right, before we get into the schedule and just go game by game here, what do you think kind of overall the fan mood is going into the
Hmm.
season, and just like what's the read on the K State fans?
Yeah. So man, we're pretty hyped up. We want to see the repeat, and we believe that it can be done. It's not going to be easy, but we expect, like I mentioned, at least like a top 3, 4 finish in the Big 12. We really believe in Howard. Like I mentioned, the defense is kind of a question, but Clanderman's a great coordinator. He's been delivering. I believe that he will again this season. Super excited to have Kleinman. He just signed an 8-year extension. So everyone's kind of thinking, he's going to retire with us. So that's really exciting. Pretty much, he's really big on our athletic director. So as long as he sticks around, he's going to be there
Right.
too. So, and I mean, our athletic director's knocked out of the park with Kleiman and Jerome Tang in basketball. So I don't think he's
Yeah.
going anywhere either.
Yeah.
So just got to keep those guys happy because it's been a really great output. Otherwise, we've got a freshman QB, Avery Johnson. I was looking at the
Oh, I
roster.
forgot about him.
He's not listed red shirt, but I don't think that's true. I don't think there's any way. But I'm hoping that so I'm going to the season opener. I don't know. I don't think Kleiman's touched on it. I don't know if he's really gonna go out there in garbage time or what. But
Right.
I'm hoping he does. Because the ceiling for this guy and the potential that Avery Johnson has is, man, everyone at K State's really excited to see what he can do. He's the number one player in Kansas, state of Kansas last year, coming out in
So
recruitment.
great that y'all got to keep him.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. It was that recruitment battle with him, and then the running back, the K State or the Kansas running back that ended up going to Notre Dame, and then now I think he's in Colorado or something. But he was another big pick that we didn't snag. But we're just glad we got Avery Johnson because, man, go back and look at some of his highlights, and it's just going to be like, can he make that transition into college ball? So really hope that maybe he gets to go out in garbage time this season. So that'll be something to be on the lookout
I
for.
love the I love the new rule where you can play 4 games and still redshirt.
Mm-hmm.
It's so
Mm-hmm.
helpful because
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
now you don't even have to keep him off the field. You can
Mm-hmm.
show hey, kind of some of that potential.
Yeah, I just want to get him a little bit of experience
Hmm.
because like with Will Howard, man. Because I'll be honest, I wasn't a big Howard guy even after he played in
Right.
the conference game against TCU, like where we should have won, and then they made that comeback as TCU did so many times last season.
Right.
But you know, he when he was backup for Skylar Thompson, and Skylar Thompson dealt with injuries about every year he's there, and he'd go in and he was just he'd cause turnovers and just
Hmm.
and so
Like I said, he
whenever
wasn't scary.
yeah,
You were
right,
glad when he was
exactly.
coming in. Yeah,
Yeah, and like I
as an
speak for
opponent.
probably most of the other K State fans, like we weren't high on him, and then the OSU game happened. We were like, "Oh, wait a minute, he's really
Flip
turned
the
around."
switch. Yeah.
Yeah, he flipped a switch and he carried it all the way through the Big 12 Championship game. So like that was huge turnaround. So I just hope that Avery Johnson can get some of that experience. Like you mentioned, he can play 4 games, still be redshirted. So they've talked highly about him, that he's doing well and adjusting to the system that K State has. So who knows? Maybe we'll see him. Another young guy that we got, William Lee, is a cornerback. I'm not sure if he'll get a whole lot of playing time this year, but I think he's going to be another big guy, kind of like how Kobe Savage just turned into a big player for K State. I think he's going to be something similar like that. So
Hmm.
that'll be something to keep an eye out for. But fan mood, yeah, I mean, we're excited. I can't wait. It's killing me. I think it's 39 days now,
I
and
know.
so I was like, the season openers the day after my birthday, and I was like, well, there we go. I know what I'm doing. So I'm going to that. It's too far away.
Yeah, no kidding. Get all this time we get to just talk about it,
Yeah,
just talk
right.
about it and listen about it, or
Mm-hmm.
rewatch old. I'm already pulling up old games, watching them
Highlights. Yeah,
again.
yeah, yeah. I'll
It's a
probably end up watching that Big
championship
12
game,
championship game again. Yeah, yeah.
dude. If Tech ever played like that and won the Big 12 on a championship game like that, I would
Mm.
watch that probably every week.
Well,
I mean, I don't know how
dude,
you don't.
dude, I mean, I recorded. I was there, so I recorded that field goal kick, and
Uh,
about the only reason I don't play all the time is because I'm embarrassed of how loud I was, like when it went through. So
that's
just
great.
couldn't contain myself. Yeah, yeah. I really need to go rewatch that first TCU game. I was at a wedding that game and just watching on ESPN.
Oof.
Like, oh, we look good. We're Will Howard's in. We're doing solid. And then they came back, and so I need to go back and really see what happened that game. But yeah.
Yeah, dude. Sometimes when you're at a game, it's awesome when you win, and then you go back and you just rewatch it again on the TV
Hmm.
and hear
Yeah.
what they talk about, and like,
Yeah.
oh, you know what's about to
Yeah.
happen. And
Oh
yeah, I
yeah.
love that.
Yeah, I need to. I need to go back and even like watch that like the
See if you
pregame.
caught the things they did.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I mean, I've only seen like the couple of highlights from like Deuce and maybe like one touchdown pass, and obviously the field goal. But yeah, I definitely need to go back and really
Take
see
it in
what
again.
take it in. Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's end it on this. Like, going through the schedule, just kind of
Mm-hmm.
evaluating the games. Boy, according to Sports Illustrated, y'all have the
Mm-hmm.
10th hardest schedule in the
Yeah,
country.
yeah.
So, I mean, there's a good chunk of Big 12 teams that have hard schedules, other than like OU, who has
Mm-hmm.
like one of the worst schedules or the
Yeah.
easiest schedules.
Cakewalk
Yep,
this year. Yeah.
exactly. But I mean, you've already talked about it. So South Dakota to start with, right? Or no, who do y'all have? Start with?
Southeastern Missouri.
Southeast. Yeah, that's right.
Kind of expect that to be kind of like I think we had South Dakota State last
Like you
year.
said, hopefully Avery Johnson gets into play.
Yep, yeah, exactly. I hope it's a garbage time game. So, and then we've got Troy, and I think that's kind of a little bit like that could be a Tulane situation if we underestimate them, but I don't
Yeah.
expect us to do that twice in a year or 2 times in a row. So,
Hmm.
I would say the biggest non-con is going to be that Missouri game because it's at Missouri.
Right.
I don't think they made leaps and bounds. I mean, I know that they kind of shocked everybody and gave Georgia trouble last year, but man,
They're still at the bottom. Yeah.
yeah, they are.
As you said.
I'm not high on Eli Drinkowitz, so and I mean we beat them out. It was like 40 to
Yeah.
and
Kicked
eight
their
nine
teeth in
something like that.
last year. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and they only scored a touchdown because it was ridiculous. It was like they went for it on like a fourth down in garbage time just to score a touchdown, so it didn't look so bad, something like that. It was kind of sad, but
Can't blame them.
right, you can't. Then we open up Big 12 play with UCF at home. Everyone's really high on UCF. I do think that they'll probably have the best record out of the 4 new joining
Dude,
teams.
they play
So
all the hard teams at their place though. Like
Yeah,
they play
and it's the
Tech
bounce
at
house.
Tech. They play
You're
y'all
saying,
at
yeah,
K
yeah, yeah,
State. They
yeah.
play you. They play Texas at Texas. I mean, it's just like holy
Hmm.
cow.
Yeah,
They can't catch
and,
a break.
yeah, and BYU is kind of similar there too, just with a hard schedule at least. I can't remember who they've got home and
But they
away,
at least
but
get some people at home. I think
yeah, I know they have
it's
like
like
OU at home.
I
I
feel
think.
like UCF is just going to the hardest teams
Yeah,
places, and
yeah,
so
but man, everyone's high
I
on
think
them.
y'all can beat them. Yeah, I think y'all
Yeah,
can beat
yeah,
them.
I do too. Especially like a little early in the season. I think K State
Uh,
will have it more put together. So still be could be closer than we think. But yeah, I expect to win there. Then we've got OSU in Stillwater. Obviously, it's gonna be tough at T Boone Pickens Stadium. But I mean,
I'm pretty down on them this year.
yeah, I am too. I mean, it's Mike Gundy. OSU. You never
Yeah,
know.
when you
But
count them
yeah,
out, that's most likely when
yeah.
he's going to be good.
Yeah, exactly. So who knows? But expecting to win there. Then we've got Texas Tech in Lubbock. That's a little worried about that one. It's always a
You
close game
know,
with Tech.
you should be worried about it. It should
Hmm.
match up good for us, except
Yeah,
for y'all beat us every year. Like
yeah.
it
Something
seems like
always
every year that
happens,
I've been
man.
alive. I don't
Yeah,
understand.
yeah. Something
Y'all
always
talk
happens in
about
that fourth
kryptonite.
quarter.
Y'all are our
Yeah,
kryptonite, and
yeah.
it's miserable.
Yeah, it's gonna be a really, really fun and interesting one. And here's the thing, too, in our schedule. So we've got Tech, TCU, Houston, and Texas all in a row, and Baylor. So we've got the Texas teams like boom,
Hmm.
boom, 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 back, back, back. Obviously, not too worried about Houston, not too worried about Baylor, but TCU's after Tech, but we play them at home, like you mentioned. That's our probably our toughest home game. Still expect to win there. I'm not super high on TCU. I don't think they're gonna have, especially losing Riley at offensive coordinator. I think that's going to be
That is true.
a big
That's an
hit.
underrated aspect of this season.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it
you're right.
is. So
I
we'll
keep
see
thinking about
about
their
them
talent, but I'm like, and they
for sure.
reloaded with some
Yeah,
transfers. But yeah,
yeah,
I forget
and
about
they
that
lost
almost
Riley.
every time we
Very
talk about
Riley.
them.
Yeah, and so then after TC, you've got Houston. It's at Manhattan. Not too worried about it. Then you've got game that it's like I can't get out of my head. K State at Texas in Austin. November 4th, so we'll see about that one. After that, we've got Baylor at home. Not too worried there. I do think that, I mean, it's weird with Baylor how you win the Big 12, and then last year you have such a drawback. I don't know what to expect from this year. Maybe they'll land a little more in the middle, a little higher than they were, but it's going to be interesting.
They're very much a wild card, and
Yeah.
it's funny because they've kind of have a pattern of being bad then good then bad then
Mm-hmm.
good. So it's like
Right. So
this would
maybe
be
this is their
their
up
good
year.
year. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So we'll see.
And after that, we've got KU in Lawrence this year. Man, it was a closer game than I thought it'd be last year. I mean, got to give them credit. KU's on the up and up. Still don't think
They
they'll.
can't play a lick of defense.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think they'll have enough. But I mean, it's going to be. They're going to show up, and Lawrence. The fans are going to be there. It's going to be a not a very kind atmosphere. So it'll be interesting to see how they can do with Leopold in Lawrence. Super hyped up. I know that they're going to be excited for that one. They're going to give us a really tough game, I expect, but expect to win there. Then we finish the season with Iowa State at home. Talked about that one earlier, rivalry game, but I mean, I've got Iowa State pretty low this year on my
Yeah.
poll, so I don't
Yeah.
expect too much there.
So do you have any losses there? I mean,
Yeah, so I would say Texas is a loss. I would say Tech is questionable, and then a little worried about TCU. Otherwise, feeling pretty good about the rest of them.
okay. So what's your final prediction record rise? Y'all,
Man, I gotta say 8-1. I gotta be hopeful. I gotta be on the belief
I like
train.
it.
So
I like
I
it.
say 8-1. Yeah, and then that's just considering conference. I don't because I get so hyper focused on Big 12 and like our road
I've
to the
noticed that
championship. So I just
since I've
consider.
asked you. Yeah, I
Yeah,
like that.
I
I'm
always
like,
just
even
consider
when,
the
oh,
conference.
that's right. He's not
Yeah,
even counting the.
yeah.
I did
Which
that
I
in the
expect to
Tech
win it on.
podcast also. I had to like make a correction because I was
Mhm.
like talking about how Tech had not had had 9 winning seasons in 27 years, but then I should have said conference winning seasons.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah,
that
yeah,
makes
yeah,
a huge difference.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I'm with you. I get hyper
Mhm.
focused on the conference because it's like these are the games that matter if you're trying to win a Big 12
Yeah, yeah.
championship. So
Yeah, but if we're considering non-conference, I expect
yeah,
3
you
wins
should
there.
sweep those
So,
guys.
yeah, exactly.
All right, man. Anything else you want to say before we wrap up?
Man, you mentioned if there's anything you might not know, so I got together a
Yeah,
little bit, and then we can
yeah.
finish there. So last year, or not last year, but in the off season, Colin Klein was courted by Notre Dame. They were trying to get him to come be their offensive coordinator, and everyone was kind of waiting on his answer. He took a bit. And so the speculation is that he like considered it just off the sheer amount of money that they probably
Right.
offered him.
Yeah.
But then he stayed because, he's a K-State guy, believes in the program.
Uh,
And man, he could have like keys to the kingdom. Like if he wants to stick around until Kleiman retires, I guarantee you he's going to be at least, hey, do you want the
yeah.
head coach position? So hoping that's what happens. But yeah, I thought that was really interesting, man.
That is
Notre Dame went after him hard. But we did sign him on a new deal, both him and Klanderman, 2-year deal. So
him and
yeah.
y'all's head coach Kleiman and Klein,
Yeah,
that
was tough,
confuses me constantly. I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
wait, I gotta readjust. Like, okay,
Yeah.
Klein's the old quarterback, and then Kleiman's the FCS coach now.
Yep.
Y'all's
Especially
coach.
because their initials are both CK too. So like not only are their last names so similar, you got Colin and Chris. And so I always I'll accidentally say Kleinman instead of Kleiman all the time for Chris. It's definitely a screw up. Another thing, so I kind of mentioned how we've got a couple guys who like just don't want to go down and get those extra yards. I think an underrated aspect is that kind of our bread and butter this year on offense could be that we're going to be that bulldozer type offense. I mean, like we got the line back. Howard says he wants to run. We've got power backs. We've got Keegan Johnson, who's big dude, doesn't want to go down. We've got Ben Sinnott, who's I expect to have a standout year. All these guys like just gonna run you over, just get those extra yards. I think we're gonna see a very physical offense, and like you mentioned, it is these guys deliver, but I have a lot of faith in them. I really think our offense is gonna be just beat you down type offense this year.
That is what I think of when I think of K-State.
Yeah,
like hard-nosed football, even in the Big 12, where for a long time it felt like we were pretty flashy. I never felt like that with K-State. I always felt like y'all were hard-nosed football.
True. It was just weird having that like the end of the season last year where like Will was just airing it out and Will wasn't really running. And obviously you got Deuce, and Deuce is just a menace in open space. So
y'all were explosive last year for sure.
Yeah. So I don't expect so much the explosiveness. I just, I expect the strength essentially. So, and then last thing to mention is we do have another Lockett at Kansas State. I believe he is.
The legacy continues?
Yeah, the legacy continues. I believe he is Tyler's cousin, possibly nephew, but he's redshirting, so probably won't see much of him, but that's just kind of something to keep in mind.
Something in the wings.
So we'll see how that pans out. Excited about that.
I love Tyler Lockett in the NFL now.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Me too. Solid guy, especially, if you're looking for a receiver for your fantasy team. He's a pretty reliable guy.
Yeah. I love his commitment to just getting down as soon as he catches the ball too. Like he's like, I'm not about to lose years of my life getting hit by these guys.
Yeah. True. And you look back at all those Geno Smith highlights last year. I mean,
he catches it and goes right down.
It's and it's going to be to Lockett, just about Lockett or Metcalf.
DK,
a lot of Lockett last year. So it's doing good.
Any more nuggets?
Man, I think that's about it. Like I've said, man, I need the season to get here. It's killing me. Just ready
Dude,
to see it unfold.
Same. Well, thanks for joining. I really enjoyed it. We'll have to have you back on, especially when Tech plays Kansas State. I got to get you back on at least for that.
For sure. Yeah, we could do a little pregame pod for that one.
Oh yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah,
we should definitely do that.
Yeah.
Anytime you want to get on, just hit me up.
Yeah, man, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me. Thanks for
and also plug your music because I'm going to put it in the little description there. So
okay, sure. So check out Blake Love, 2 words. Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere you listen. Got an EP, some singles out there. If you like some kind of indie pop stuff, that's probably what I'd call it. So appreciate the plug there. Yeah, if you want to listen. Yeah.
I'm usually the less talented of whoever else I have on the podcast, but in this case, it's definitely true. So
whatever. I gotta read that book someday, man. I heard you talking about it.
All right. Well, I guess we'll wrap it up. Thank you all for listening, and see you next time. Later.